Hi, everybody. I'm a real doctor. Dr. Manriquez, the doctor that kills. On stage, hopefully, but sometimes at work, too. But honestly, Dr. Manriquez is my mother's name. You can call me Luis. She's actually here tonight, so you can give a round of applause for the real Dr. Manriquez. All right, settle down, settle down. No one cares that much about the patriarchy. No one that matters, anyway. I mean. So I'm just glad to be with you all here tonight because I had a hard day at work, right? And not like a hard day in the office type day, right? Like a hard day of work in the office is like somebody took my La Croix, or LaCroix, you know, the bubbly water. Anyway, someone stole my La Croix. I had it clearly marked and I brought it from home and it was sitting in the fridge, so it was gonna be nice and cold and I've been looking forward to it all day and now it's gone. I had a doctor bad day, which is so much worse, right? There was a code blue that was called, so I was doing CPR on this guy. And when you do CPR, you have to do 100 compressions a minute. That's how you make sure they stay alive. So you have to find something that meets that tempo. So I'm just going to work, and I'm doing my thing, you know. Ha, 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 staying alive, staying alive. Yeah, Bee Gees, 100 beats a minute. So I bring him back, and the way this guy lets me know that he's returned to the land of the living is when I lean over to give him rescue breaths, and he throws up in my mouth. Yeah, Taco Bell. Gross. I had to chug someone's La Croix just to get the taste out of my mouth. You know, speaking of Dr. Bad Days at Work, I've been watching that show, The Pit. It's an ED show, it's an emergency medicine show. It stars Noah Wyle as Dr. Robbie, and every episode is 1 hour in the worst day at work imaginable. You know, when I was a kid, Noah Wyle was the young heartthrob doctor on the show ER. But now in The Pit, he's back as a grizzled veteran. And it's been a minute. Right? It's been 16 years since I went to medical school. That's a long time. Medically speaking, 16 years is how long it takes an infant to develop the ability to ask people to buy it cigarettes. But he still looks good, still dreamy. You know, doctors love Dr. Robbie. I was talking to one of my friends, one of my doctor friends, and I wanted to talk about The Pit, but he has young kids and he is struggling. You know, and he's telling me, God, I love her so much, but it's 3 in the morning and she still hasn't gone to bed, and I get these scary ideas sometimes. And I interrupted him, because I'm a bad friend, and I'm a mandatory reporter, and nobody wants to hear that. So I'm like, what do you think of Dr. Robbie? And he's like, oh, Noah Wyle? Oh, I'd go down on him in a minute. If only he could save me from my beautiful wife and adoring children. Doctors love being seen on television because they make us look so good. Right? They make us look so good on these shows, and in real life, doctors aren't that cool. You know what a group of doctors is called? You've got a flock of sheep, you've got a pack of wolves, a murder of crows, which I think is grossly unfair, right? Because a crow is a beautiful, intelligent bird. Crows have never murdered anyone. And besides, that's our thing, right? We do that. Imagine a murder of doctors. No, we're not that cool. I think a group of doctors should be called a nerd, right? A nerd of doctors. And it's the same thing, singular or plural. It's like moose. Did anybody see that picture of Donald Trump pretending to be Jesus, like healing someone with his hands? It was amazing. The Pope got mad at him and he said, oh no, I wasn't trying to be Jesus. I was just being a doctor. Well, Mr. President, pretending to be God is our thing, okay? Can't take that from us. But to be serious, doctors don't play God. All right? We actually spend our whole lives studying, learning. We take an oath to learn how to protect you from God. That's right. I'd like to spread the good word. There is a God, and he's going to kill you. He'll kill us all. That's the divine plan. And you know, there's nothing we doctors can do to stop it in the end. Even the most powerful person on earth, Donald J. Trump, and I don't want to get too political, it's just a fact to say that he's the most powerful person on earth. Just like it's a fact to say that someday soon, the good Lord, in his divine wisdom, will see fit to turn out the light behind old Donnie's eyes. and we won't be able to stop him. And I just think that's neat. Well, I don't want to bum you out with medical stories about death. I want to tell you a happy doctor story. I want to tell you about my favorite patient. It's this woman that had diabetes. Her blood sugars were getting really low, so she came to see me. And I walked into the exam room, and I saw this frail, elderly woman, but she had kind of like a regal air about her. Like you could tell she'd been really beautiful when she was younger. And still was, honestly, just had a lot of wrinkles and these really thick glasses. And so I was going to ask her about her blood sugars. And she stopped me and she pulled out a notebook and pressed it into my hand. And as I took the notebook, she kissed my hand and gave me a wink. Sure, it's inappropriate, but how many times in her life has she had some unwanted advances from a man? Right? I just kind of feel like in her golden years, she deserves, nay, she has earned the right to enjoy one of the little pleasures of men's lives, treating other people as sex objects. So I'm looking at her notebook, and she's got her insulin in there, but she's like missing doses and stuff. It doesn't really make sense. And I turn the page, and now there's a bunch of question marks in the margins, and the writing doesn't really make sense. And I turn the page again, and it's just a bunch of pictures of dicks, like a frat boy who fell asleep at a party. And then it dawns on me, she hasn't been recording her blood sugars. She's been recording her descent into dementia. And I look up at her, and I can see her eyes magnified through these giant glasses, and I can see the fear, because she knows that she's losing herself. And then I saw the reflection of my own eyes in those glasses, and I could see the fear as I realized how much my hair is thinning. And so she's crying and I'm crying, different reasons, but we're just two sad people trapped in God's plan. And then she wipes her tears. She says, "Cheer up, Doc." She gives me a hug. She presses a note into my chest, and then she grabs my crotch hard. I couldn't believe it. How presidential of her. Right? She grabbed me by the pussy. But it was nice. It was nice because, man gets to a certain age, and he wants to know he's still got it. It's nice to be recognized. And that note, I still carry it in my wallet. I'll share it with you here. So, dearest, don't worry about me. God never gives you more than you can handle. Looks like he gave you a little more than I can handle. It literally says the word wink, and then there's a picture of a dick. And that's how I met my first wife. No, in real life, doctors aren't all that heroic, but every once in a while, you get your chance to be a hero. Like this one time I was working in the emergency department, and this woman came in. She had a neurological condition that made her pick at her scalp, and she had picked her scalp down to the bone. Right, her skull was showing. Everyone was freaking out. And I was just, I heard the report, and I just steeled myself up. I took a deep breath, and I walked in, and I said, and as I came to, I looked up, a nurse was standing over me, and she was like, "What's the matter, Doc? One patient isn't enough for you?" And she helped me up, and she leaned over and she whispered into my ear, "I know it was you who drank my LaCroix." All right. Good night, everyone.